And that's why I come here tonight. Because I come to ask you a favor. I want you to keep doing everything you're doing. I don't want you to change a single thing that you're doing. I just want you to do one more thing. Just one more thing. And you know, if you're an organizer and it's busy, you ask the busiest person to do the next thing that has to be done. Because if you ask the person who isn't busy, you know why they're not busy. It's because they never get busy. You want the person who's overwhelmed. You want to put one more task on their list. And so, Robin, I'm putting one more task on your list. And here it is. In January of this year, the Supreme Court of the United States, in a ruling called Citizens United versus FEC, ruled that a corporation has the same constitutional rights as a citizen.
That ain't right.
That is not right. No. Right, wrong, those are simple words. That is evil. That is evil. In fact, let me take it one more step. That is sin. Because when you take God's creation, when you take a human being, and you say they are no better than a money-grubbing, grabbing, bottom-feeding, bottom-line corporation, you diminish God's creation. Now, the Supreme Court of the United States had said corporation same as a human being. They said that because they wanted to give corporations the ability to spend as much money as they liked to buy as many politicians and elections as they could. And this fall they're doing it. This year's election campaign, it is said, will cost $5 billion. $5 billion. That is twice what the midterm elections of 4 years ago cost. That is more, $5 billion. That is more than Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan combined spent to get elected President of the United States. And this year we're going to spend it to elect a lesser Congress and elect lesser leaders. That's a crime. And there's some people who say, well, we're just going to have to wait till somebody new gets appointed to the Supreme Court. And I'm going to tell you, democracy can't wait. We don't say, well, you can spend your $5 billion this year and spend $5 billion, $10 billion to beat Barack Obama 2 years from now. You just keep spending. Maybe someday we'll get a better justice on the Supreme Court. I say no. I say that if the Supreme Court of the United States can be corrupted by the corporations, if it can be corrupted by Wall Street, then we, the people of this country, must organize at the grassroots and demand a constitutional amendment that says no corporation is the equal of the citizen. Citizens are supreme. This is our country. This is our democracy. We are taking it back. A constitutional amendment. And I don't say that alone. Last week, a half dozen former state attorneys general said that we should have a constitutional amendment. More than 50 of the top law professors in the country said we're going to need a constitutional amendment if we're going to get our democracy back. Now, Sarah Palin is not a constitutional scholar. But these men and women are constitutional scholars. And what they say is that if we're going to have our democracy, if this country is going to function, we're going to have to amend our Constitution. And we ought not fear that. We ought not fear radical action on behalf of this republic. Because I'm going to tell you something. There was a Tea Party back in 1773. That was a Tea Party that took on not merely the British government, but the British East India Company. It was an anti-corporate Tea Party. And the fact of the matter is, we need another anti-corporate Tea Party in this country. We need something more than an anti-corporate Tea Party. We need an anti-corporate revolution. And I'm going to tell you where it will begin. It will not begin on Wall Street. It will not begin in Washington, D.C. it will begin, I don't know, maybe on a Friday night in a hotel ballroom that seems just a little bit better than many of us expected to be gathering in, with a cleaner carpet than we expected, no vomit that we can identify at this point, although later in the evening perhaps, where a bunch of people get together in a way that most times doesn't happen in this country. White people from rural places, black people from rural places, white people from big city, black people from big city, Latinos and Asians, old and young, all in the same room, all recognizing that we may not be identical in every way, but we are identical in one way. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. All of us gathered together, all of us saying, we are human beings. We are the living, breathing representation of God's creation on this earth. And we have come together on this night, not to stop, but to start. To start marching, not toward one election, not toward one piece of legislation, but toward that promise of the American experiment, the promise that Tom Paine imagined when he said more than 225 years ago, we have it in our power to make the world over again. We have it in our power to make the world over again. We do have it in our power. We've got to dream bigger dreams. We've got to demand a whole lot more. And we've got to recognize one thing. At the end of the day, this is what democracy looks like. But I'm not just interested in democracy. I'm interested in what justice looks like. And I believe this. Justice looks like every American with single-payer, Medicare for all, health care, no exceptions, everybody in, nobody out. Justice looks like education for all. Justice looks like housing for all. Justice looks like a moratorium on foreclosures. Justice looks like GRO, MO, grassroots organizing in Missouri. Justice looks like Robin, Erich. Justice looks like all of you. Thank you for having me here.